In a phone call with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, US President Joe Biden has asked for an immediate ceasefire. According to the White House, Biden made it clear that there is need for Israel to implement concrete steps to address civilian harm and the safety of humanitarian workers. This demand has been amplified by the recent deaths of 7 World Central Kitchen workers. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken briefed Biden about Netanyahu's roughly 30-minute call as well.
President Biden spoke a short while ago with Prime Minister Netanyahu. The leaders discussed the situation in Gaza. The president emphasized that the strikes on humanitarian workers and the overall humanitarian situation are unacceptable. He made clear the need for Israel to announce a series of specific, concrete, and measurable steps to address civilian harm, humanitarian suffering, and the safety of aid workers.
The White House did not specify what could change about United States policy, but it could include altering military sales to Israel and America's diplomatic backup on the world stage. Prime Minister Netanyahu, on the other hand, has warned of enormous implications for U.S. security if Israel is not victorious.
A larger battle. Our battle is your battle. Our victory is your victory. And if we don't have a victory, this will have enormous implications for American security, for our common future. So we must win. So I have 3 messages for you. The first is we're going to win. Absolutely. Victory is within reach. It's very close. And there is no substitute for victory.
Now, this comes as Benjamin Netanyahu's office said that his security cabinet has approved a series of immediate steps to increase the flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza, including the reopening of the Erez crossing between Israel and northern Gaza for the first time since the October 7th Hamas attacks. Netanyahu's office said that it would allow its Ashdod port to be used to process aid shipments bound for Gaza and to allow increased Jordanian aid shipments through Kerem Shalom land crossing. The Israeli military said that a probe into the strikes on a World Central Kitchen convoy that killed 7 aid workers earlier this week will be made public soon.
Major General Yoav Harivan presented today to the Chief of Staff of the investigation. It is now presented to the Defense Minister and the Prime Minister, and I believe after it will be presented to the ambassadors of the relevant countries and the representatives of the WCK, we will make it public in clear and transparent manner, and it will happen soon.
Meanwhile, Israeli forces continue to operate in the area of the Israel-Gaza border as the Israeli military said that it had beefed up forces and heightened the readiness of its troops. A thick cloud of grey smoke was seen rising from the skyline behind a tent camp in the Rafah, southern Gaza city. This is near the Egyptian border where many Gazans are displaced. According to the health ministry in Gaza, during the past 24 hours, the Israeli army killed 59 Palestinians, wounded 83 others, bringing the total death toll to 32,975 and injuries at 75,577. The Palestine Red Crescent Society said that 15 of their team members have been killed since the war in Gaza started 6 months ago.
The Palestine Red Crescent staff and volunteers are working tirelessly to alleviate this unprecedented suffering. Yet, this is not without sacrifice. 15 members of our teams were killed since the beginning of the war.
Now, to discuss this further, we were earlier joined by Professor James A. Russell, who's an associate professor in the Department of National Security Affairs at NPS, where he teaches U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East, military innovation and national security strategy. Listen to what he had to say.
Many of us observers who have been watching this unfolding humanitarian and strategic catastrophe over the last several months have been wanting the White House to start exercising decisive American leadership to bring this conflict to a close and to use the circumstances created by the conflict to create some kind of lasting political settlement between the Israelis and the Palestinians. President Biden has shown no willingness to do this. I'm heartened to hear that his wife has finally chimed in. Maybe President Biden will listen to his wife if he's not listening to those of us in the country that are objecting to this. It remains to be seen whether this change of tone will result in a change of actual real policy. I would describe the American policy in this war in Gaza as one of style over substance. President Biden has done nothing in the last 5 months to try to bring egregious Israeli behavior to heel.
For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.